This is Garden Variety, a horticulture podcast from Iowa Public Radio and Iowa State University Extension and Outreach. I'm Charity Nebbe. All year long, we hear from people who are looking for advice on when they should plant grass seed. And the answer is now. Mid-August to mid-September is the ideal window. And today we're going to talk about seeding, overseeding, and fall lawn chores with our lawn guru, Adam Thoms, Associate Professor of Horticulture at Iowa State University. Hello, Adam.
Good morning.
Thank you so much for being here. And first, let's take a look at the summer that we are here at the tail end of. Let's look back. It's been hot, it's been dry, it's been wet. There's been a lot going on. How have our lawns fared?
Yeah, we've seen everything this year. You think about coming out of winter. We had some winter kill because we had really cold temperatures with no snow cover. And then that spiraled into a dry spring in a large part of the state. And then that changed quickly into large amounts of rain in a short amount of time with high humidity. So we've seen a lot of disease in yards. A lot of people have sent pictures in of crabgrass in their yards that they don't traditionally have. And
when it feels like Florida, the crabgrass grows really well. Is that what I'm hearing?
Yeah, exactly. That's exactly what it is. The crabgrass is moving in, and my response back to them right now basically is, relax on the crabgrass. It's going to die with the first frost. I know that fall's coming. The frost will happen at some point, whether we, believe it or not, with the temps that we've had at times. So don't worry about the crabgrass at this point. We're going to focus on grass seed and trying to heal up from some of the diseases.
And what are the diseases that have been most common?
Yeah, so we've had, we have a group of diseases that we call our air conditioner diseases, and they happen when your air conditioner is on. And so we have brown patch, which if you go out in your yard and you've got kind of a smoky ring in parts of your yard, that would be brown patch. We've seen summer patch, especially on bluegrass yards, which is very common during high humidity, high temperatures. And that is, no matter how much you water, the grass continues to die, but in the middle of it is healthy-looking grass. And so that's summer patch. There's also dollar spot, which are small silver dollar size disease spots all over yards. And that's fixed with a little fertilizer and better temperatures that are on the way. So we've had a good amount of disease across the state. It's good for business, I guess, if you're a turfgrass specialist. But not if you're a home lawn connoisseur, or a person that cares about the details.
All right. So right now we're kind of waiting for the weather to change and conditions to change, but it is a good time to plant grass seed. What makes mid-August to mid-September ideal?
Yeah, this is that perfect window that we have for seeding. And first and foremost is we have less weed pressure. So I talked about crabgrass earlier. The colder nights, crabgrass is going to germinate less this time of year, and it's going to start to slow down and, in fact, die out. The grass seed will germinate. Even with the first frost, it will continue to grow. Another reason why we like to seed in the fall is the soil temps are already elevated. So when you seed in the spring, the grass seed lays out there for the soil temps to come up, and then the birds tend to eat it and haul it away as it waits or the seed rots. So those are the two big things. Less competition from weeds in the fall, soil temps are already ready, and then normally we get some timely rains that will help that grass seed establish and fill in. So there's hope. If your yard got beat up this summer, now is the time to seed, and there's a lot of benefits from seeding in the fall that you'd have a good-looking yard going into winter.
All right, so if you're seeding something that's, maybe it's a construction site or something like that, just starting from scratch is different from overseeding, and I think most of us are in the position of overseeding. What do you do to prepare a spot on your lawn for additional grass seed?
Yep, that's a great question. And so I always think, first of all, I want to do a site assessment. And I get this call a lot of times from people that say, I have lived in my house for 30 years. I had a beautiful yard. Now it's no longer looks as good. And that's, if you take a look up at the trees, 30 years ago, you had pretty small trees. Now you've got great big trees that are causing a lot of shade, right? So depending on what type of shade situation you have, it's going to depend on what type of seed you buy. And so if you've got a shady yard, you're going to look at like a perennial ryegrass, tall fescue, full sun. That's going to be 100% Kentucky bluegrass for seed. So that's the first thing you want to do. The next thing that you're going to do is you need to, if you've got an area that the grass died and the dead blades are laying there, you're going to take the rake out, try to remove some of those dead blades, be able to see the soil underneath. And so that's one of the things then that's the next first step. And then lastly, we're going to want to scuff up the soil just a little bit, loosen it up, and then plant our grass seed in there, and then lightly rake it back in. So grass seed doesn't want to be real deep in the soil, so you don't have to till up your yard. In fact, we actually would want you not to do that, because then that's where you get mud holes in your yard and things kind of go awry. So just a light raking of the yard, scuff it up a little bit, and then you can kind of grow that spot back in without a ton of damage to your whole yard.
Now, you said that the beneficial rain will likely come. We also know that in Iowa, nothing is guaranteed. So how much watering should you do just in case Mother Nature doesn't comply?
Yep. So we want to provide light amounts of rain at frequent timings. And so that is one of the things. Wetting the surface for the first 14 days or so every day would be important. And so if you get a rain event and it keeps the soil wet for 2 days, then you can take off 2 days. But yeah, you're going to have to provide a little bit of water to get it going. Just real light amount though. Don't soak it. Don't put out a lot. Just enough to kind of wet that surface and keep it slightly damp through that first 14 days or so.
Now, we know that some years we get a huge blast of heat here at the end of August. Do you recommend taking a look at the long-term forecast and shooting for cooler nights before you start this process?
The key here is that we want to get a time period where we want to have some time where there's still some warm days to help speed along the germination. And so I do feel anything after August 15th is fine. Even if we get some warm days, you might just have to water a little bit more those first couple of days if we have, 90s and things like that. Even the last couple of weeks, where we've had real hot, humid weather, it's kind of cooled down at night. It may still feel real humid, which the grass doesn't care about, but it's going to cool off at night. So I say go ahead and do it. Don't wait. And you'll still be fine.
All right. And given the course of human events, we probably will be a couple weeks from now anyway, right? When we start to make a plan. All right. Let's talk about other lawn chores we should be looking at as we're going into the fall season. You are a big proponent of aeration. Tell me what aeration does for your lawn.
Yeah. So core aeration is when you go out and you poke holes in your yard. Typically, it will eject the aerator will, a small core from your yard, a small little plug that it pulls out that allows oxygen into the soil. It allows water when it rains to actually move down in the soil. And so that's a positive thing. And what that'll do is that will strengthen the existing grass that you have. And so it's so much easier if we can start with maintaining and improving the existing grass that we have than starting from seed all the time. And so core aeration is very good. A couple of things to keep in mind there. One is, if you're really dry and the soil is really hard, that aerator is not going to go down into the soil. And so that is a big problem that a lot of people have, is trying to find that right timing. Now, a lot of the state has had good rain over the last, let's say, 14 days. And so your soils are probably right that if you wanted to start aerating now, you could. And then go ahead and plan to do that, through the end of September. That would be a real good time to get that wrapped up. The other thing that I do want to caution people on is it makes a mess of your yard for that first week or so. And so if you're going to do an outdoor wedding or some sort of a family reunion, you might want to hold off till after that.
Plan accordingly.
Yeah, you're going to track mud into the house or whatever it might be, right? And so we don't want to have that. And
children will ask if cats have been out in your yard because those little plugs look pretty suspicious. So
yes, you'll be answering lots of questions.
Right.
About
Do
that.
you recommend aeration every single year?
I do. I think the benefits are so good. Again, when it rains, the water goes down in, so you're going to have a healthier root system, the oxygen in the soil. And so I do think that aerating every year is something that's a real positive thing. And the other thing that I get a lot of times is people are like, I don't, running the aerator is not an easy process. It's kind of a heavier machine. And so this might be something where you hire that done as opposed to you trying to do it yourself. And there's lots of companies out there that are quality companies that would help you with the aerification so that you don't have to struggle with pushing that around.
And I'm sure there are people listening who think, okay, Adam wants me to do this every year. I haven't done it for a decade. So if you haven't done it in a really long time, is there anything special you should know about aeration after a long pause?
Yeah, not really. The big thing is to keep in mind if you haven't done it in a long time, just remember to get back into that process. And it's going to make a mess for a little while. It's going to be dusty as you mow over those cores. Just leave the cores out there. You can chop them up, and they'll return back into the soil just fine. But it'll be dusty right after you do it if the cores are dry, or muddy if you mow it when it's wet. As far as that goes, a word of caution that I do give to anyone: if you have an irrigation system in your yard, make sure to put a flag by each of your irrigation heads, because that aerifier will not avoid the irrigation heads. And so it will punch a nice hole in the top of the irrigation head if you have that in there. And so mark those so you can avoid those.
Suddenly aeration becomes a very expensive project.
Yeah, yes. Something you hadn't planned on working on.
Did you have trouble keeping up with mowing this summer, or was that just at my house, Adam?
No, I did. After July, we had a lot of rain, and we're still kind of coming out of that time period there where it seems like the grass is growing feet.
Yes,
and so
absolutely. Yeah. My yard looks a little like a hayfield right now, which I know is not optimal, but we'll get back on top of it. Adam Thoms, Associate Professor of Horticulture at Iowa State University. For more gardening information and tips, please subscribe to our Garden Variety newsletter. Find out more at iowapublicradio.org/garden. I'm Charity Nebbe. Garden Variety is a production of Iowa Public Radio and Iowa State University Extension. It's produced by me, Erin Stile, Caitlin Troutman, and the Iowa Public Radio talk show team. For more garden goodness, please subscribe to our Garden Variety newsletter. Just go to iowapublicradio.org/garden. I'm Charity Nebbe. See you next time.